Good morning, Bucknutters. It is Thursday, June 8th, 2017. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and Change. We're going to spend an hour and a half this morning talking about more basketball. Just kidding. We are back to football recruiting. That can mean only one thing. Steve Wiltfong, a director of recruiting for 24/7 Sports. Steve, crystal clear here. How are you?
Doing great, man. Fell asleep on that ball game last night. I heard it was a good one. Unfortunately, not the ending most of you guys were looking for, and me. I root for LeBron this time of year when my Pacers go out. That game could have started an hour earlier. I'm tired of these late start times. I'm a grumpy older man now, and it's just, can we start at 8, Dan? Can they start the game at 8? People got to work.
I wish. We need to move to California and start watching games 3 hours early. Here's my thing on the hoop.
They don't even care about sports in California.
How dare you? But the game started, LeBron went off, and in the back of my mind I thought to myself, too much too early. I fully believe LeBron is the greatest player in the world. There's no question in my mind who is. But the first ever chink in his armor to me is he's getting a little fatigued at the end of games when he didn't used to. And I think that's what cost them yesterday. So there you have it. Kyrie was amazing. Go ahead.
What LeBron teammate has ever made a clutch shot that wasn't also a Hall of Famer late? You know, like Korver hasn't made a big shot all playoffs. I mean, you know, so he sees the floor great. He's such a great passer. Always makes a smart basketball decision. But it's not a smart basketball decision to pass the ball to Kyle Korver. Again, I didn't watch it, but go to the rim. Take the shot yourself. You know, Michael Jordan knew Jim Paxson had the stones to make the shot. Steve Kerr had the stones to make the shot. What role players LeBron played with that had the stones to make that shot? Kyle Korver sucked the whole finals.
Believe it or not, he used to have a guy named Damon Jones who had huge stones that he keeps around. But I don't think you can complain about supporting cast when you have Kyrie and Kevin Love on your team, and they've done what they've done. The fact is they just run into a better team, has more players. So
no, I agree with
that. We shall see.
Saying role players. You know, LeBron is expected role players to make big shots, and they don't have the stones to make them.
Kyrie use Robert Horry, that's for sure. I hear you. As a Wizards fan, though, I will take a supporting cast of Kyrie and Kevin Love and let the chips fall where they may. But speaking of let the chips falling where they may, Micah Parsons, he told you a while back that the name is going to come up again. It has come up again, the defensive end out of Pennsylvania who was at one point in time committed to Penn State and visited Ohio State, decommitted, and everyone thought he was going to commit immediately. He didn't. However, in the last week or so, last few days, you have put in a crystal ball for Micah Parsons to attend the Ohio State University. Please explain your rationale for doing so.
Well, I think when Micah Parsons decommitted from Penn State, you know, that would have been the smart pick right away. The tea leaves said Ohio State, but I didn't have anyone tell me that I trusted that it was going to be Ohio State for sure. Talking to the Parsons family, I got the sense that he would stay closer to home and it would still be a Penn State-Ohio State battle. And yeah, again, you don't decommit unless another team had moved out in front or at least even. So it's easy to quickly jump on Ohio State when he announced he was decommitting. But in my quest for Taraja Mitchell news, I stumbled into some news that I think Ohio State's a clear leader for Micah Parsons, so I put my crystal ball, flipped it from Penn State to Ohio State.
This may be an ambush question, but is there any panic at Penn State for losing the top defensive player they had committed in Parsons and then losing the quarterback? I think it's going in something Hardy the other day.
No, quite the contrary, actually. I talked to, some Penn State people right after the Fields deal, and they got some swagger there in Happy Valley right now, coming off the season they did. And, And they're confident that they're going to find good players and develop them. And certainly they'd like to have Parsons and Fields in the fold, but they also understand that there's a lot of good players out there for them to go recruit and develop. I don't think there was still extreme confidence coming out of Happy Valley after Fields decommitted that they'd find another good quarterback if it wasn't Fields.
Okay. Speaking of growing confidence, a former Buckeye coach has to be generating confidence in the Queen City, and that is Luke Fickell in Cincinnati. It does seem like, I think given what's gone on at Michigan State, the malfeasance, et cetera, I think Cincy is setting itself up to really get a lot of those really good Ohio players who just fall short of an Ohio State offer. You got a chance to spend some time with Luke recently. Kind of tell us about that and kind of what you think of what Fick's doing.
Yeah, I was at Cincinnati yesterday, spent a couple hours with Coach Fickell and his staff, and obviously Coach Fickell is one of the top recruiters on Ohio State's staff. All the years he was there, had some huge recruiting wins, and then also was a really good football coach. But this was my first time spending an extended time with him, and I was just blown away at first how normal of a guy he is, how engaging of a guy he is, and how great a leader he is. And you talk to people around the facility, older veteran coaches that have been around other great coaches, and all the positive things they had to say about Coach Fickell and how he's bringing everybody together. And the thing that stood out to me when talking to Coach Fickell, Cincinnati's a place that, has won double-digit football games quite consistently over the last decade or so, but they had a couple down years under Coach Tuberville, which obviously led to them bringing in Coach Fickell. And he talked about players win you games, but teams win consistently, win you championships. And so his vision is to, change the culture there and bring everybody together, pushing for the same thing. And so I think obviously he's had a chance to coach under Jim Tressel, coach under Urban Meyer. He'll take things from both those guys. He'll infuse his own vision into those things. But no question, he's going to be a tremendous head coach recruiter because he knows the head coach, and these were his words, his head coach has to be the best recruiter in the building. And he said that about Jim Tressel being the best recruiter in the building when he worked for Coach Tressel. And then he said the same about Coach Urban Meyer. And that's his plan at Cincinnati, to be the best recruiter in the building.
Yeah, I really think he's going to thrive there for the reason I said, his connections in Ohio. Already getting a guy like Malik Van headed there. I see some Aeneas Hawkins crystal balls. I could see someone like Chris Oates landing there. I just don't think those guys would be there otherwise. So very, very.
There's no doubt, and they're in on some other good players in the state. Running back Ryan Montgomery, Michi Harris. They're in on some guys.
Ryan Montgomery from Franklin. Does he not have an offer from? Yeah.
No, he has.
I'm not going to brag. My son hit 2 threes over Ryan Franklin last year, but Ryan Montgomery last year. But anyway, Jaiden Woodbey, big-time safety out of California, committed to the Buckeyes. I saw a crystal ball for Oklahoma yesterday. I guess Bob Stoops didn't like the look of that crystal ball and retired. So, in all seriousness, how worried should we be? Or is this just a case of a kid from far away looking around?
Well, I think, when Jaiden Woodbey committed to Ohio State, a kid from California, a kid that's being heavily recruited, a kid that hasn't visited as many places as he would like, I think he's going to ultimately take some visits. Does that mean he'll flip? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Ohio State has as good a track record as anyone to keep guys in the fold. And so, we'll see what happens. But nothing would surprise me either way with Jaiden Woodbey. I know he obviously loves Ohio State, but he's, I expect him to look into some other opportunities.
As you can possibly hear, Steve's hands are full. We appreciate him stopping by. Hope everyone has a good day, Bucknutters. We are all over the Thad Matta replacement watch. Keep it locked to Bucknuts all day, Bucknutters. Have a good one.